Hello and welcome to this educational video from Physio Fitness in Maidenhead about the shoulder. Firstly, we're going to cover the bony anatomy of the shoulder, so all the relevant bones. Then we're going to cover the muscles that play a key role in the shoulder movement, and then we'll have a look at how the shoulder actually moves. So first of all, if we look at the front of the skeleton here, we can see the collarbone at the front here, or the clavicle as it's known. So that's the collarbone. Starts off from the sternum in the middle of the chest. So this is the front of the chest wall, that's the sternum, and then you have a joint here between the collarbone and the sternum, and then the collarbone comes off to the side and meets the point of the shoulder here on the outside. The point of the shoulder, this has a joint in it here as well called the acromioclavicular joint, or the AC joint, which, if I take you back to the back of the shoulder, joins to the scapula or the shoulder blade. Okay, this is the spine of the scapula and this is the shoulder blade around here, and is a triangular shaped bone. And the triangular shaped bone of the scapula is on top of the ribs. And if I take you all the way around, you can see at the back here, you've got the spine coming down here, the ribs coming off each side, and the scapular triangular structure. And then right to the tip of the shoulder, we have the humerus, which comes all the way down. So the humerus has a big ball at the top of it. This big ball sits in a tiny socket. So there's a large ball and a small socket, which means that the shoulder joint, the glenohumeral joint, is actually quite an unstable joint. So it relies on the muscles that surround it for the stability of it, because the bones don't hold it very well in position, okay, because it's a large ball and a small socket, which means that the muscles that surround the shoulder are very important, and the deep muscles are called the rotator cuff. And if I point my pointer right in here underneath the shoulder blade, this is where one of those muscles starts. It's called subscapularis, and it comes out onto the tip of the shoulder. If I go to the side here, you can see the point of the shoulder here, the tip of the shoulder. This has another muscle that goes off underneath the roof of the shoulder and across into the shoulder blade here. So it goes along the line, this line, and it travels underneath the roof of the shoulder. That muscle is called supraspinatus, and that's part of the rotator cuff. If we go underneath the shoulder blade now, here, underneath the spine of the shoulder blade, so this area here, there is another muscle there called infraspinatus, and this muscle comes off to the point of the shoulder here. Now those rotator cuff muscles, there is another one down here called teres minor as well, which I won't cover in detail, but it just goes from here to here. Those muscles together are called the rotator cuff, and they produce rotation type movements of the shoulder. So this movement and this movement, they turn the arm in and they turn the arm out, and they add to the stability of the shoulder joint. So now, if we look at the big muscles that surround the shoulder, you have your pectoral muscle that goes across the front here to the tip of the shoulder and is known as the pecs, and it comes to a point at the front. And if we go to the side, we have the deltoid that goes over the outside of the shoulder in this region here, which is the outer ball of the shoulder. If we come to the back, we have the latissimus dorsi, which comes all the way down the side into the lower back, and is a big muscle that travels all the way down there and is a powerhouse of the shoulder. And on the top, we have your upper fibers of trapezius, which everyone knows about, that come across the top here. And then you have a middle fibers of trapezius and the lower fibers of trapezius. All of those big muscle groups stabilize the shoulder, but the deep muscles produce the fine control of the shoulder. So if I look now and show you how the actual shoulder moves, the ball in the socket means that it can move in a lot of different directions. We've already talked about rotation, where it moves in and out. And now if we look at the arm moving out to the side, it travels upwards into that region there as it moves out, and then it comes back down again into that position there. Okay, now that movement there also, I can't do it on this skeleton, but as we travel up, you can see the bones go together and they almost bang together. So what that movement needs is for the shoulder blade at the back to actually travel upwards with the ball and socket joint. So as this bone moves out to the side, this one has to move up as well to allow the full movement of the shoulder. So you can see there how complex the shoulder is when it actually moves and functions. That is the shoulder in very basic detail, but I hope that's been useful to actually see the bones of the shoulder. And we'll do more educational videos soon.